land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for their right. We want freedom's fight. Oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hand. Let us, O our people, join as one, brothers under the sun. Oh, one, strong and free, one land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace meet Zambia's skies, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to praise be, praise be, praise be. Bless our great nation, Zambia, Zambia. Free men we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia. Praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Shall we pray? Our kind and heavenly Father, we come before thy throne this morning to give you honor and grace and glory. Father, we thank you for this opportune time that you've given unto us, where the ruling party, the Patriotic Front, gets to interact with media. Father, we pray for our candidate, Honorable Miles Sampa, who is about to lay bare his vision and plans for the city of Lusaka. May you start with us and end with us. It's our humble prayer that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good morning, colleagues, and welcome to this episode of the Interactive Forum. It's a chilly day out here in Lusaka, but as you know, it's hot in the Patriotic Front because we have a vibrant candidate in the name of Honorable Miles Sampa. I know to you, most of you, he's not a stranger. He's been in the political system for quite some time now. As many of you will know, the Patriotic Front had 31 people hoping to be adopted under our party. But of those, Mr. Miles Sampa emerged victorious, and yesterday successfully filed in his nomination. Most of you were there. The crowds that had appeared were serious in numbers. For many, it's a foregone conclusion that this is just an exercise of just confirming who our mayor will be. At this particular time, I will allow our media director, Mr. Sande Chanda, to give us some brief remarks and later on introduce our candidate, Honorable Miles Sampa.
The incoming Mayor for Lusaka, Your Worship, Comrade Miles Sampa. I recognize the presence of colleagues from the media team present here, media director, the program coordinator. I recognize the presence of those that have contested in this race at party level. The number of them who are here, maybe I can just ask each one of them to just say hi to so people see how democratic we are. There's Comrade Daniel Chisenga. Comrade Van Hapunda is here. I've seen Kumbukilani. There he is, Kumbukilani Piri, very vibrant young man, civil engineer. Bruce Ernest is there.
Hi guys.
Hi, Bruce.
If I've not seen any of the colleagues that have left anyone out, please forgive me. I'll blame it on optical handicaps. As you can see, I've got borrowed eyes. We want to firstly affirm that the Patriotic Front is Zambia's most democratic party. In terms of intra-party democracy, we come second to none. Other political parties claiming to be the largest opposition political parties in this country adopt their candidates without any primaries. We had serious primaries. The Zambian people followed and they knew who of our members was in that race. And let me also state that everyone who participated in the race, the 31 members of the Patriotic Front who participated in that race, were the best.
Yes.
It was not an easy decision to arrive at one particular candidate, but the Secretary General called all the candidates and said, colleagues, you are the cream of this party, you are the cream of this particular election, and at the end of the day, there's going to be one candidate who's going to be chosen. And all of you must rally behind that candidate. On behalf of the Secretary General, allow me to salute the 30 colleagues who participated in this race, because none of them has gone independent. They've remained true to their word, and they are here to support the candidature of His Worship, Comrade Mayoral Sampa, and they are fully involved in the campaign. As you saw yesterday, we had Comrade Mulenga Sata, we had Comrade Francis Muchemwa. Everyone has come on board in this election, so I salute you, colleagues. I want to salute the incoming mayor for extending an olive branch to his former competitors in this particular race. He's brought them on board. That is how it should be. And it's great to see that the councillors have also come on board. I want to announce that this media interactive forum, Your Worship the Mayor, is live on DAM on TV. It's also live on Smart Eagles on social media. Without further ado, allow me just to make one or two comments. Yesterday, we saw a statement coming from the UPND leader, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And I think that we have an opportunity to name and shame that without any provocation whatsoever, the UPND leader has once again incited his supporters to react to violence which is non-existent, reminiscent of a similar war cry by GBM during the nominations for Chilanga Pause last month. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, without any threat of violence whatsoever, yesterday asked his members to defend themselves. And we are saying Zambians must see through that. This is a man who probably cherishes watching Zambians fight each other over political reasons. The people of this country, the good people of Zambia, must condemn such behavior from Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. As a matter of fact, these are the last kicks of a dying horse. Let us collectively confine this man to where he belongs, the duster bins of our political history. Whilst and after the nomination, we listened to his candidate, and his candidate said, "I'll remain true to the ideals of UPND by ensuring that I do not work with government, PF, and councillors." We are asking the question, how are you going to work then? He said, in line with the party manifesto, he will introduce free education from grade 1 to grade 12 in Lusaka district. A mayor introducing free education?
Oh my God, shame upon the pastor.
He says, I will ensure that all Lusaka residents are put on FISIP in order to promote agriculture. All Lusaka residents on FISIP.
No idea.
I'll increase FRI maize flour price to 150 per 50 kg baguette. And this is a drama that we talk about. And I'll say to my brother, you know, this is not a reality show. Mayoral race is not reality. This the reality show. This is business. This is business.
Yes.
And that will ensure that 70% of the national budget is spent in Lusaka districts. Which is one reason why there are those soapies that we watch on TV.
Yes.
And we love them. And we love them.
That's right.
You know, so let's love you where you are.
Yes.
And stay there. So colleagues, without wasting much of your time, it's my rare honor and privilege to invite His Worship, the Mayor for Lusaka incoming, Comrade Maus Bwadya Sampa. And after he has presented, and then I'll come and ask Comrade Antonio Mwanza to come and do the closing remarks. But for now, it's over to you, sir.
I don't know if you want me to stand or sit.
Oh, he's sitting. He's
Sitting is better. Okay.
Background.
Please forgive me if I appear a bit shy. Narilava media. It's been a long time. So I'm actually thinking, where am I today? It's been a long, long time since I was in front of the media. The convener, the director and your deputy, and the front table, and everyone who is here, the media, I'm grateful that you made it today. Allow me to first thank God, because with God I've come to learn nothing is impossible. Amen. And that God is able. Amen. Allow me to thank the President of the Republic of Zambia and the President of Patriotic Front, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. To him I'm indebted, and to him I'm humbled. Allow me to thank the PFMCC, to thank the Lusaka district officials, and to thank all the PF members, and finally also to thank the background campaign team.
Thank you.
I think we saw, Director, we saw how social media can be a good tool for use in campaign, which is what they did, while others can choose to use social media for abuse and insult. I think the team did a good job to sell the candidate. Amen. And also allow me to thank the 31 applicants under PF. That was real democracy. And beyond that, that all of them, they are brothers. Even when we were preparing this meeting, they are all here, and they were helping me with this interview. So to you gentlemen, let me tell you, it's not that I'm better than you. It's just that in God's wisdom, maybe this was my time. And in His wisdom, your time will also come at this point of time. Okay, without much ado, I think I've been quiet towards the campaign, and before the adoption, I wasn't even going on doing interviews, radio, TV, because, and most of you were trying to get hold of me. I know some were getting frustrated, the media. My apologies. It was deliberate. How could I have started talking as if I was adopted? Suppose it ended a will. And meanwhile, I was telling you, I'll do this, I'll do that. So I was saying, when the adoption is done, then we'll talk. So here is the day, now we start from here. And you know me in the media, I'm your friend. I'm available when you need me. But before this, I wasn't, because I wasn't a candidate yet. So here we go now. What I'll do, I'll go through the issues. Ultimately, at the end of this meeting, we would have discussed all the issues in my mind. And then from there, we'll come up with the 15 or 20 major points that will need to be tackled. So I'll go through them. I'll take about 30 minutes, and then you can ask questions after that, okay? Let's start. Here we go. Vision. What's my vision as mayor? And first of all, let it be clear. I'm a mayor. I'll be, if elected, I'll be a mayor of Patriotic Front. I'm not an independent candidate. I'm a PF candidate. So whatever I say, is purely in line with the boss's vision, the president, in line with the party's decision. And mine, and they're already doing something. The council is not idle. They are working with the councillors as well. So I'm just coming in as a bus driver for the party, for the president, and the council as well. But also bear in mind the council is answerable to the people. So that should be made clear. So before I start, let me say who is Miles Sampa. Okay, my name is Miles Walia because I'm Bemba from Pika, and my mother's name was Walia, so she called me Walia. And in Matero, when I was growing up, they actually used to call me Walia. And then Emmanuel, my mother gave me the name Emmanuel because my birthday is 26th December. So I missed Jesus' birthday by one day. But she called me Emmanuel. At high school, where I was in Namyanga and Karomo, they used to call me Emmanuel. Mouse is my other name. My father's other name was Mouse. My father was a 0.5, but he died when I was 8 years old in Matero. So at Unza, they know me as Mouse. So the Matero people, when they started hearing and reading about me at high school, I'm Emmanuel, and at Unza, Mouse, anachinja zina, afuna mazina achizungu, anasia Bwalia saifuna. No, all are my names, and my family calls me Bwalia, my siblings. Like I said, my father left us when I was 8. You don't want to know the details. Yeah, my mother is there, elderly. That said, I grew up in Matero. I went to Matero Primary School, born and bred in Matero. After the adoption on Sunday, I went to church in Bigoga. The reason I went to that church is because the house we grew up is just next to Bigoga. That Bigoga church, when I was growing up, was a council tavern. The first alcohol I drank, I sneaked there and tasted the chibuk. They used to sell them in those apparel on the council, and they would do those. So that Bigoga church used to be a tavern. And at that tavern, I remember outside there would be women selling potatoes, selling pork. So if I'm hungry and the one way I would go there and buy something to eat. So I go there for personal reasons, at least each time I can. So I grew up in Matero. I was a Kampenga, a Catholic. Matero, I used to Kampenga as the one who goes in church to help the father with the mass. And I used to be a dedicated one. So Matero, I left. Then my sister got married in Kalomo to a teacher there, Mr. Austin Kumaro. So she took me with her, and I went to school there from grade 9 up to grade 12. After I left, I went to the University of Zambia, and then the rest are details. But yes, I'm a banker. I was a banker by profession, worked for Finance Bank and Barclays Bank, to a senior director, executive in charge of treasury and international banking. Treasury, meaning you are keeping the bank's money. You are the one who keeps and balances the book. You are in charge of the bank, per se. So I was a banker by choice. And then at Finance Bank, I was the relationship manager for the opposition leader, Michael Chirufya Sata. So when he comes to Finance Bank, he would come to me, my check, sign, withdraw. He had an account, so he wants to withdraw, he would call me and send Skate or whoever to come and get the money. Skate was there. Someone's a Finance Bank. Boss. Not to get money from me, get money from his account as a client of the bank. And the late president had accounts in several banks, and Finance Bank was just one of them. But then with that, I got fired at Finance Bank. Okay? And the reason was that Finance Bank was dealing with PF. And the bank, all the senior management was fired. And I remember the late president calling me and laughing at me. And I went and sat with him, and I was panicking and shaking. He said, "Mr. Mouse, just relax, don't panic." But then that is history. So that's how, when the politics came up, with that situation, I was forced to apply in Mayoral, where I grew up, not because of PF. I grew up there and my history was there, as I've said. So I applied, and again, the adoption wasn't easy. I was surprised. A lot of people came up, but finally I was picked. And hence, that was the beginning of politics for me, and the rest is history. So now let's look at the vision I once elected that I will have for Lusaka. The first thing I'll do within 90 days of going to the council, I'll do the first thing, but which I think is very important. The first thing I'll do there within 100 days, not 90 days, 100 days, is make sure I enhance communication between the council and the people of Lusaka, the residents of Lusaka. It will be very clear to me that my bosses will be the residents, first of all, the party, the president and the party and government, but in reality, also the residents of Lusaka, as a mayor, you are answerable to them. You need to respond to their aspiration. The first thing I'll do within 100 days is put up a call center at the council. The same way the police have a call center, the same way ZESCO has a call center, 24 hours there'll be a call center there. I don't know what code they'll give us, whether it's 911 or 11 or 909. But everyone who is in Lusaka should know that number and be able to call it and issue in any complaint or any issue that they want. And it should be picked, not you are ringing, no one is picking. So to be a full-fledged call center. If you find a dead dog in the road, you can immediately call that call center and immediately the council responds and come and picks up the dog. Okay, and as mayor, I'll be reading everything that's coming through that call center. Okay, so that is communication. The first step is communication. If there's no channel of communication between the residents of Lusaka and the council, there's nothing that can happen. Once communication breaks or it's non-existent, nothing can happen. Number two, I'll look at decongestion of roads in Lusaka. I think we will spend so much time driving around and spending hours in the roads of Lusaka because of congestion. It's a good thing. Seems like most Lusaka people have cars now, which is good. But the disadvantage or the bad thing is that everyone now spends 2-3 hours on the road stuck. So you are late for work, you are late for business, and business doesn't move quick because you spend it stuck in traffic, and it's very frustrating. So I'll find ways of decongesting the roads of Lusaka so that there's efficiency. As we discuss, some will ask, how will you do it? But as we go on now, you realize that some solution will be coming up as well. Okay? The other thing I'll do within 100 days is ensure that in public places, starting with the airport, the rail station, the bus station, the intercity, and elsewhere, we introduce free Wi-Fi. So that when you arrive in Zambia at the airport, immediately there's free Wi-Fi, you log in. When you go to intercity, there's free Wi-Fi. If you are traveling, you are delayed, you can at least communicate with your family from there. And the council itself will put free Wi-Fi so that we encourage you people to come. Public places, okay? You all know what Wi-Fi is. Yeah. Bundles. It will be my duty also in line with government, as they're already doing, to ensure that the health facilities are improved as relates to the council. The health facilities are under the Ministry of Health, but there are also those facilities that are under the council. Just there at the council, I know there was a clinic, I don't know if it's still operating, but that too will move in real quick. The other thing that I'll do within 100 days, those that don't add the 100 days, they know that those are medium to long term. Within 100 days, I will introduce the town hall meetings. Every 6 months, your mayor, the Lusaka mayor, will be meeting all residents under the town hall meeting to have a one-on-one. Okay? The call center is one thing, but now one-on-one town hall meeting every 6 months. Every 3 months, the councillors who agree with them, they also be having town halls in their wards. So wherever you live, it's in Baulen or Kawata, your councillors will agree that they meet the residents for town hall meetings every 3 months. The details of who comes to this mayor 6 months town hall meeting we'll discuss. Maybe within the wards you agree who the representatives will be to these town hall meetings. Because otherwise also you don't want all the 2 million residents to come for this meeting, then it will not be practical. So yourselves, when you meet with the councillors for those town hall meetings, then you choose representatives to meet the mayor every 6 months. From there, among them, I would want to see the entrepreneurs, the businessmen. I would want to see the media. To be good, the media you also come because you're also residents of Lusaka. I would want to see the elderly people. Within there, I would also want to see the physical challenged people represented there. I'd want to see the teachers represented, the healthcare represented, and the churches also represented in that grouping that I'll be meeting every 6 months in town hall meeting, within 100 days. Okay? Are we together?
Yes.
I keep reading that thing of "Are we together?" on social media. So are we together?
Yes.
And they give us
And they give us your way. Okay, so when I say "Are we together?" you should say "Give us your way." Are we together?
Give us your way.
Thank you. Housing. Number 5. Let's go to housing. As mayor, what will I do? Within 100 days, I'll start the process to ensure that all houses in Lusaka, all of them, the process of issuing title deeds to our houses is done. So all those who have houses that have no title deeds or no proper paperwork will start the process of title deeds and also computerizing the system of houses. And also valuing the houses. Because if your houses are not valued, you don't know how much your house is worth. Even if you go to the bank to try and get a loan, they'll say, what's the value of your house? And then they won't even do it. But if you know the value of your house, then also makes you have money. You're a bozoli then. Because your house has value. Is it 1 million house? Is it 2 million? But with the council and yourselves work together to value. And then computerize the system. You should be able to come to the council and say, my name is Sunday Chanda. Oh, okay. As mayor, I go in our computer, Sunday Chanda, it brings his house detail. Or houses. Director man, 21. So it will bring them, and as mayor, I'll be able to tell he has a house in Chalala, he has a house in Kablonga, he has a house in Kalingalinga, or he has a house where. For his own good. But it was all computerized. I must tell you, I was disappointed when I was trying to pay rates for my house in Kablonga, which I've had for the last 15 years. And I bought that house from somebody, from a bank. It repossessed it from somebody, Lyndon Fungwe was a politician, in 2004. And he had bought that house from National Housing. So when I went to pay my rates, when we put in the plot lot for that house I live in, you know the details that came at the council. The owner of the house is National Housing. So it means they haven't changed the record since 2001. And it was sold to Lyndon, and the bank repossessed, and the bank sold to me. The details at the council are not changed. So if that happened to me, what more others elsewhere? So I'll make sure the system there is computerized for your assets and all the houses. Okay? Let's move on. Markets. Within 100 days, in the next 2 weeks, I'll release my social contracts with the voters and the residents of Lusaka. We are working on it with our director. We go to the next thing, the markets. The markets in Lusaka. Government is already doing something about markets, but just to underscore, as mayor, I also get involved to see that the markets in all the constituencies or the wards are upgraded to modern standard. Gone are the days where we want to see old type of markets. I used to sell in a market on behalf of my mother. Remember I said we were raised by my mother. In Mayoral markets, my mom had a shop, she was selling vegetables, rep. So when she's busy, she would send me. Mbachi Logistics. So my mother would go to Soweto Market and she would come on her head with a sack of rape, yeah, and she would come and would help her to put it in those little turning things. And then if she's busy, I was going in that market in Matero and sell the rape for her and the tomato. And that's how we used to manage to survive. So those are all type of market. Yesterday when we drove the convoy, I saw that market and I was touched. I could see inside there where our shop used to be. But now, that was then in the 80s, early 80s. Now this is 2018. We need to upgrade our markets. And in elsewhere in other countries, you see markets, you go to a market, it has floors. The first floor is a car park, second floor is a car park, the third floor, a restaurant, fourth floor, that's where you find the markets for vegetables, the next floor, markets for clothes, Pamulu, ama hotel, Pamulu sana, ama flats for rent. That's a market. And that's why we have Zambians going to China, going to South Africa, following markets. Why can't we do it also in Zambia? If the Chinese did it, why can't we did it also? What is it? Oh, are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. The other thing. So housing we've mentioned, markets we've mentioned, revenue. Are we ensure that the council moves from being a council of being in red to a council in black? Essentially to say from being a broke council to a council with money. How can you help the residents of Lusaka if you're a broke council, you have no money? How will you find the money? The first thing we'll do is stop income leakages. Even if we have a database and the rates as well for your houses, it means you'll be able to pay rates properly. And the business houses will be able to pay rates. So I'll ensure that the council collects all revenues that are due to the council. And also the correct rates for that matter. I have bad news for the business houses. These malls that have come up already. The shops in town. Yesterday we drove in Cairo Road, in Freedom Way, and Chachacha and Lumumba, and I could see the shops there. And my colleagues, the Asian, most of them were coming and waving at us. But in my mind, I said, oh, you don't know what's coming. I have bad news for you. The rates, especially for the business houses, we'll put them up so that the council has money to help the residents of Lusaka. Awama Mandayu and the malls will put up the rates so that the council collects revenues to help the people of Lusaka.
Yes.
It so happens when you're talking about revenue, by default, God in his own wisdom. In the meantime, in the last 2 years when I was doing virtually nothing, let me share with you amongst the things that was very painful to me in the last 2 years. By the way, those who want to dwell in the past that is that has been overtaken by events of reconciliation and whatnot, those you're on your own. Me, the president, and everybody were reconciled and we're looking ahead. The president is my brother. What some of you don't even know, that he is the one amongst everyone who deserted me. Everyone, most of the people. There's one person that never deserted me, I must tell you. It's my elder brother, the president, Edgar Chagwa.
Amen.
He used to look out for me, and we used to communicate.
Yes.
My brother, now, yes, Nimpia Wakaramba, he would send me something to buy a drink.
Give us away.
Yes, I wasn't working. When you're not working, do you have money?
No.
Some people were saying, he wants to come back in politics because he wants a job. Yes. Oh, Njara Mnyokola. Yes, let me be an example. If you don't work, then you don't have income. So I'm encouraging everyone to look for a job. And I'm not encouraging people to sit at home. Yeah, so do business if you can, but also look for something to do. But yes, I wanted to underscore that me and the president, we have no problem. We reconciled, and he's my older brother. He's my president for the party, he's the president of Zambia. And the relationship has been conducive, so I'm thankful to him. So I will be on your own. Are we together? Yeah, my point was, I want to share with you one of my frustrating moments in the last 2 years was to wake up in the morning and there's nowhere to go. That's torture to me because I grew up active all the time and running around. The day would end not knowing how it went because I would be too busy. But now you wake up and there was nothing to do. I was sharing in church the other day, I was with the other people, that when I was MP or politician, my phone used to buzz and ring non-stop. I would receive like 100 calls in a day. In the last 2 years, my phone had this like now phone required that in the phone was I phone watching now if you on the signal network na power feel full but they leader
That's the point.
Yeah, so now here I am. Everyone wants to feel like a human being. You want to be busy and contribute to your society that you live in. Let's move on. Yes, while we are talking about rates, I was talking about rates to everybody needs to pay rates. You have to pay your bills, but more so the business community in Lusaka. We'll give them amnesty like ZRA did. Tell them you owe this much, Bwana, pay. We'll give you amnesty, and then we'll pick it up from there. Let me go to bus stops. Bus stops, the government, through the Minister of Local Government. By the way, let me mention, the Minister of Local Government started acting like he's the mayor of Lusaka because he was overwhelmed with issues of Lusaka. He's a colleague of mine, and I already had a meeting with him. And one of the things he told me is that Lusaka was taking almost 90% of my time. And yet there's like 130 councils. At least if you come, you can help me with Lusaka while I try to spread my wings in the other councils and districts that I haven't been. So now I was talking about bus stops. So they're already doing things, but what we'll do is we'll improve the management of these bus stops. And remember, we are bringing Wi-Fi, so even in the bus stops, we'll put Wi-Fi. While you're waiting for that bus, at least there is Wi-Fi. So we'll improve the management of these buses. Within 100 days, correct me, for the mayor, I want to stick to 100 days. Within 100 days, the other thing we'll do is ensure that all councillors and the management of the council will draw up performance contracts for them. Okay, so as mayor, as a councillor, I'll be doing appraisals and say, oh, this councillor is performing well in my own time, every so often. Oh, this councillor is not performing well. Management also will introduce the performance appraisal so that management improves in efficiency. I don't know if I said my vision, but my vision essentially is to make the council, and that is the councillors and the management, be more responsive and effective in dealing with issues and all the concerns of the residents of Lusaka. So we have three players: the councillors, the management, and the residents of Lusaka. As mayor, my vision is to ensure that whatever we do, the councillors, the management are responding to all your needs and aspirations of all residents of Lusaka. That's the vision. So everything we are doing goes in line. These are all objectives that goes in that vision. Okay, so we'll do the appraisals. We'll introduce performance management at the council. Billboards. We'll make sure that the billboards are properly put. Not everywhere is a billboard. You can't even see properly because everywhere is a billboard. So we'll review and revisit the policy and ensure that billboards are properly put in Zambia, in Lusaka, and that anybody who is advertising pays the rates. Yeah. Yesterday we were going around Kabata. I saw everybody's advertising over those flats in Kabata. But are they paying the council for that advert? So we need to find out and ensure that they pay. The other thing, while I was talking about revenue, I mentioned on my CV that I'm doing a PhD with University of Lusaka. So in that 2 years, that's partly what I was doing. But as it turned out, and as God may have it in His wisdom, do you know what my title was or is for my thesis? Is how to increase revenue for the councils in Zambia. And so I've already been researching and writing a thesis on that, and it turns out as events unfolded, I'm applied, and I'm standing for election for Lusaka mayor. So I already have ideas how we can increase the revenue. Decentralizing councils. Right now, for some reason, the councils, it's only the Lusaka council here. Everybody in Lusaka is about 2 million people at least. When anybody wants anything to do with the council, they have to come to the council there. But the government has already started that, and it was launched by the Minister Vincent Male and the Deputy Mayor Chilando to decentralize the council. So in each constituency, the process has already started of having a council office. With time, we'll move to all the wards to have the sub-council offices as well, so that we take the council services down to where the people are. So the council follows people where they live. You wake up, you should be able to walk to the council and present your issues instead of coming to the main council there. That will be for town hall meetings only every 6 months. Are we together?
Yes, you will.
Oh, you're tired, we stop here.
No, don't be tired. Just getting warmed up.
You're just getting warmed up. Okay? The other one, let's go to the cemetery. The issue of the cemetery, we can't run away from it. Lusaka is growing population. There's more birth, and also the old age as well. It's inevitable people are going to die. Who's never had a relative dying here? So it's a fact that as residents of Lusaka, we will have births, but also we will have funerals. And we all do know that there's the Leopards Hill Cemetery. Unfortunately, as it may be, it's the only cemetery in Lusaka that is functioning. That's why all the time you see traffic coming from a funeral procession from Chawama, from Matero, from Mtendere, from Munali, coming to Leopards Hill. I lived in that area at some point. All you do there is get stuck up in traffic because of funeral procession. And then the bad news, my father is buried at Leopards Hill Cemetery. When I went to try and locate, remember he died when I was 8 years old? And then when I grew up later and working, I went there to try and locate his graveyard. You know what the bad news is? I couldn't locate his graveyard. The number in the book, I went to the council and saw the graveyard number. When I went to the area, you can't just locate it. After years and years of rain seasons, they are not numbered. So I've lost my father's grave. I don't even know where to find it. But I know it's in... I remember the funeral, the day of burying him at that old Leopards Hill. But to date, we can't locate it. So I've lost the graveyard. But I may not be the only one in that situation. The thing is, the bad news is, in Lusaka, there's no more land to expand. Tell me, if we had to open a new graveyard, where would we open it? Where I grew up in Matero, there was the Chingwere Cemetery and the Chunga Cemetery. Even those are full. And people have built, the reservoir that was meant for the graveyard. So let me be diplomatic on this issue because it's a sensitive issue. But as a council and as mayor, it's one issue we need to deal with. The mayor will be a mayor for all residents alive, and those also have departed, but they have been buried in Lusaka. It will be our duty to ensure that those who die are put to rest properly. So we'll find ways of resolving the issue of cemeteries, lack of cemetery in Lusaka. Okay? So I'd want to leave that at that. Let's go to the next one. 12. What I'll do as mayor, start the process within 100 days of also computerizing residential addresses, okay, where you live. And also we'll revise the roads of Lusaka, change some names. Some names are still in colonial names. And some names we need to change them and honor our Zambian veterans, if you know what I mean. As Lusaka mayor, I want to see all Zambian roads in Lusaka named after Zambian names, not colonial names. Okay? And with that, it means even residential address, we'll ensure that we put proper residential address. Places like Chara there, it's very difficult to locate a place. So we ensure that the roads are properly numbered and that the houses are also properly numbered. With that, let me go to the next one. If we do that, let me tell you that also within 100 days, we'll start the process of introducing GPS in Lusaka. GPS, okay? So with the proper address, proper roads, you should be able to have the GPS in your car, put in the address, the car can start leading you to that address, like it happens in other countries, okay? Vendors, as I look to conclude in the next 5 minutes, vendors, we will ensure that vendors, in line with the policy of the government, and as already the president has already gave us his vision on that, we will ensure that vendors are moved to upgraded markets. They will be given priorities, but also identify spots within Lusaka CBD and elsewhere for trading. And also we will introduce Saturday markets so that within town center, maybe one road will close it on that day so that traders can come and sell their goods on that particular day. Okay? Are we together? Are we together? Okay, shall we stand up once so that you stretch your legs and then we can sit together? Stretch your legs for a few seconds and then we can sit. Okay, may sit. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Vendors tackled. We will ensure that, in line with government policy, that we keep Lusaka clean and green. So we'll do a lot of activities to keep Lusaka clean and green. Yesterday as we were driving in Mayoral, I've seen the roads have come up double lanes, but a thought came that Lusaka now has become a concrete jungle, because of the good roads, yes? But now it means everywhere you go, you're seeing is concrete. So as mayor of Lusaka, within 100 days, we'll start the process of planting trees, which the government is already doing, but we'll also just amplify that. So that wherever there are all those new roads, we'll also plant trees, so that we keep Lusaka clean and green, okay? Water and sanitation, we ensure that all the projects that are going on for water and sanitation, like the Millennium Challenge, that we get involved to accelerate it to completion, so that there's proper running water in Lusaka, and also for the garbage and sanitation. Under drainage also, we'll make John Leng, Kanyama, and Kamara. Remember Lusaka, if there's one thing you need to know about Lusaka, is that Lusaka is slanty. Yeah, it's like this. That's why all the water, that's why Kanyama always has floods. Because all the water after rain season in Lusaka drains towards Kanyama. And that's how you end up floods there. Okay, so we need to find a solution to drain that. If you should know what Matero means in Ilenje, Matero means at the far end, at the downside end. Kumatero, yes. Chilenje means what? Chilenje was a chief. Anyway, we need to go to history, our director. Okay, so that's one thing we'll do. And then garbage, it's a big one. When I grew up, we used to have the council. We'll go back to the days when I was young. The council used to buy a dustbin for each household and come and leave it to you. Yeah. Throw your garbage in this. And once a week, the council truck will come and pick up the garbage and take Marabo. And we had friends who used to go in those garbage trucks. Very naughty friends I grew up with. But as a council, we will find the money and buy the trucks for each constituency, one in each ward, to go around, and we'll give each resident a dustbin and come and pick the garbage from your homes. The private garbage collectors will just be an addition to what the council is already doing. Okay, I think I have 3 more. Second one, we will improve the public transport system. We will find the money within 100 days, start the process to buy buses for each constituency that will be moving based on time zones. They will be time bound. So a bus that is on schedule written to leave Chilenge at 10 o'clock, exactly 10 per bus stop per area, bus will take off. And on schedule to say to be in Kawata by 10:15. 10:15 to be at Kawata bus stop. And on schedule, if it says it will be in town by 10:45. 10:45 on the dot to be in town. And if per bus stop on 10:35, there's nobody to take off empty. The emphasis will be on time bound. It is part of a solution to decongest Lusaka, because everyone goes to work by driving. You don't want to go in buses because they are chaotic and they are not time bound. In families, you have the husband living with a house, going to town to work. The wife lives with a car, going to town to work. The dependents, the children live with a car, going to town to work. So you have one household, 6 cars leaving in the morning and coming back. No. I would want all residents of Lusaka to own cars. You own your cars, but those should be weekend cars. You drive them per weekend as posing, Bosele, Mulenda. When you go chilling in your cars. But not you want to go and buy vegetables No, you should be able to want to jump in the buses because they are reliable. Okay? So that's one thing we'll do. Are we together? Thank you. Last one. Long term, but within 100 days and in conjunction with the government, we'll start the process of looking and reintroducing the inter-constituency, inter-town train in Lusaka. We want a train that can leave Matero, come to Kabwata, go to Munali, go to Chilenge, go to the airport, go to Chawama. How we'll do that, that's what we'll look at. I know we used to have that Kamulungushi train. We'll possibly start with that, reintroduce it. But remember, to decongest, first we need to make the public transport effective. So other than the time-bound buses, we'll also introduce the time-bound train. So that you can move. Like if you want to move from here to go elsewhere, if you don't want to use the road, you can go on a train and quickly you go where you're going. Okay? Yes. Are we together on that one?
Give us your way.
Thank you. Dump site, the biggest dump site. There's only one dump site and it's Matero. They say in Matero where I grew up, that's where everything is. The biggest of everything is in Matero in Lusaka. The biggest church is in Matero. The biggest dump site is in Matero. Yeah, so everybody, all the garbage that is collected in all the constituents, from Mnali, Baulen, you know where they go and throw at a dump site in Matero there. And it's a huge thing. There are a lot of scavengers there. So we'll look at making that a business venture for the council. I'm told there are projects, you can use that garbage to recycle the garbage. You can use that garbage to generate electricity. So immediately we'll move in there and make that a properly organized dump site. And also to use it as a source of revenue for Lusaka Council. Lastly, but not the least, we enhance and appeal to the business community in Zambia, in Lusaka, to up their game with social corporate responsibility. The business they do and the profit they make, it's not and should not be at the expense of Lusaka residents. And the profit that they make, they should learn not to be greedy. They should learn to share it and give back to the residents of Lusaka. So I appeal to all of them to give back to the residents of Lusaka through social corporate responsibility. And if they are doing that, they will be good friends with the mayor. If they are not, I'm afraid we will not be good friends. Are we together?
Give us the way.
Thank you very much, our director. I end here.
Colleagues, you have been given. Yes. So it's that time where we get to ask questions. As per tradition, we'll take the first 3 questions. Please, when you stand up, tell us your name, tell us where you're coming from, then ask 1 question. I think we are a lot today, so we'll strictly just get 1 question per individual.
And so let's make it clear, only the media is allowed to ask questions. Only the media is allowed to ask questions.
So let them ask, even them, whoever wants to ask.
Can we have the first 3 questions? So we have 1 there, 2, and 3. Please rise your name and where you're coming from, then you can ask.
My name is Agripa Chanda from Ama radio station. Well, just before I ask the question, I see that Lusaka now would be like Pretoria, whereby you would be going the bus and what. Thank you for the good vision, sir. Now, my question is about the dumping place in Matero. Last time I was interviewing people who are staying just nearby that side. They said the place this time is stinking, and so many people living just that place, they are getting sick. So what are your plans when you become the mayor of Lusaka? Do you have any plans of relocating that place to somewhere where people are not staying?
Where do you stay?
SOS.
SOS?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can we come and borrow your house and then we can shift the dump site to there? My point is, thank you for the question. After that, I'll take questions, but let me answer him before I lose the thought. The problem is what I've already said. Even if you want to move it, tell me, move it where? Remember, I already said Lusaka has no more land. When I was growing up, I lived in Chilenge with my sister, Chilenge South. Just there, there was no chalala. And I remember that used to be like a barrack. It was in the bush. When I drive through there, when we were campaigning in Chilanga, I was driving through there. They were placed now their houses, which is development. So there's no idle land or any bush in Lusaka. There's no more land. That's partly the biggest problem in Lusaka. Beyond that, I will engage the nearby districts. I will engage our colleagues, our neighbors, that we look out for each other. And start signing MOUs with the neighbor districts, with Chilanga district, with Rufunsa district, with Kafue, with Chongwe, and Katuva, because they have what we don't have, and we also may have what they don't have. Chilanga, for instance, and Kafue has land, but Chilanga has no water, and we have water. So maybe we can start agreeing, and maybe we can find MOUs to find some land to make Lusaka bigger. But also, I responded that we want to make that a business venture. I have pictures. I visited that when I was MP, and it's a terrible sight. You find women, they are there, they've turned themselves into scavengers, picking plastic bottles in the bag, going to resell elsewhere. But then it's a filthy place. So yes, we'll find solutions, and within 100 days, as I say, we'll start and ensure that, and the neighbors that are there as a council also, because most people are also complaining health hazard, and we'll see the immediate ones, they've been impacted. Or SOS, you might be also a victim. We'll look at the possibility. Can the council look at compensating those that can prove that they have health issues due to the problems of the dump site?
You can go ahead, the other 2 questions.
My name is Nicholas Maria from Metro FM. I just wanted your opinion and also your views regarding the fact that you have been in alliances from one alliance to the other, maybe from one property to the other. What have you learned as a person in terms of your relationship with the patriotic front? Has this strengthened you, or it has made you much weaker than you were? Are you now strengthened by the fact that what you experienced in the past 2 years, has it made you stronger than you were now?
Please let him ask the question. He's protected.
The last question.
My name is Mangada. I write for Nadu News Agency. I needed some form of clarification on your plan to decongest the city of Lusaka in terms of transportation. You said there will be time buses that will be introduced. And they will say that sometimes the road network isn't so good. So how do you intend to harmonize the busing system which will be bound by time and the road network system which seems to be a little bit limited, and the number of vehicles that are also growing?
That's all?
Good morning. My name is Adela Kasoma from Hot FM Radio. I've heard your vision, but there's one aspect that I haven't heard you touch on, which is on on how you intend to address the taverns and bars in the city. Because recently we actually got a policy from government on alcohol, but I want to find out how, as a mayor, you intend to implement that in the city.
Okay, let me start with Melody. Thank you for your question. Yeah, where I stay, sometimes I fail to sleep because you have these buzzing music there all night. In Kablonga there, now Mtendere Kalingaina there. The bars have come up there and the Gachalila need the all night. Wala la wavu kan yolo na volume ile hapa moja. Banjo, wale banjo. Palast kuvuka fi wambo kushana na yolo. Wamba ole bombe bale punda give us you. No, we need to have a Lusaka that has law and order. And there's time zones for in the compound when we were driving around Matero, you find people were drinking in the morning. So you find bars open in the morning. I know government is already on that, the policy is there. So as mayor, I will ensure that that is adhered to. If you are a bar, you have a time to open. If you are a nightclub, you have a time to open. Elsewhere, we've seen nightclubs won't be open until midnight. Bars, actually, if it's in the UK, in London, bars will open from 15 until, is it 21 hours? 22. After that, they close. The police come in and arrest you if you're inside there. If it's a nightclub, it doesn't open until from 23, and then it closes at 02. So that the residents of Lusaka can sleep and rest. That's why we want to book if you work Karipa, Nama Tempa, because no one has a good rest because it's noisy. Yes, so I'm with you. We'll look to enforce. The laws are already there, but I'll be in the forefront to ensure that they are there too. Francis Mangaila, Lusaka decongesting time-bound buses. How will you do time-bound, but there's congestion? Remember, I've already put other solution to decongest. And the first thing is I'll also be appealing to residents. I would say if you don't have to drive in CBD, don't, if you can help it. So there are many solutions to decongesting. First, to appeal to residents, only drive if you have to. And find that that's why we're introducing the buses, is to decongest. So we encourage people not to drive. We encourage families to drive as families together in one vehicle, and not each one driving. So we'll start by talking to them and telling them the benefits of not driving. And also, like happens elsewhere, if you insist that you want to drive into Cairo Road, the council within 100 days will look at the possibility of fining through levies those who insist on driving in Cairo Road. So as it happens elsewhere, we will create zones So there'll be zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. So if you are driving in the outer ring, you'll be encouraged to drive in the outer road ring, which the government is already putting out. Okay? So if you can use the outer ring to go to Rely from here, it won't cost you. But if you insist that you're going to drive to Findeko House in Tukai Road and out, you will know that there will be a levy to that. So look, and also the government is already computerizing the roads. So meaning through RDA, through RATSA, we can ensure that cleverly we encourage people to drive in the outer skirts. So yes, solution for decongesting will be there, because that's the only way that these buses for the Lusaka people that are time zones will be able to be on time. The last one from my brother there, Nicholas Bwalia. Look, for the record, in my life, I've only belonged to 2 political parties. PF, where I was born, and then in my own wisdom at the time, I formed a party which was disbanded, and that was it. And then I'm back in PF. I've never joined them. You should show me a date and time I issued a statement I've joined this party. And also, on a personal note, I'm only human. I've discussed with you here, I've made errors before, since I was born. And then from there, you grow as an individual. Unless panokuli muntu mu life fyonso vyo chitafe perfect. Pantu na ku school first walesambira wapona ko grade 7 ko wasaba. Hello, let me tell you, zikumatero grade 7 twalekana na my brother Uncle Peter. Since we were Sampa, so him Alisa Peter and we were in the same class Uncle Peter. So I used to sit next to him. Number wa teacher wala twewat mwirako peshana mpa exam. When you're friend, you should be hiding. So and it was just in my head. So I know a brother when we were sitting next to me, exam and then fish right. And I'm hiding from him. He's also hiding from me. You know what happened after that exam? Once to grade 7. So the first grade 7 I actually failed. Yeah. Then I repeated one. After that, I'd never failed an exam in my life. So you learn from experience. So yes, there are patches in my political life I wouldn't want to even mention, but and also in my personal life, but I'm human. As a mayor, I'm standing and saying I'm human. I make and I've made errors, but I've also done good things. So if you're looking for a mayor who is 100% perfect, what Jesus stay in them quiet. Thank you.
And the last one there. So we'll start with... Hello
everyone. My name is Anakira Simpong with Smart Eagles. Now, Mr. Sampa, I'd like to find out from you, the late mayor, Mr. Wilson Kalumba, God rest his soul, had a number of very interesting ideas, beginning with revenue collection through talk time. But one very interesting one, which he's mentioned right here on the interactive forum, was the issue of the biocides being, which are scarce now, a solution being through cremation. So my question is, are you going to sit down and look at some of the interesting solutions that Mr. Kalumba had to the many challenges that we have in Lusaka, beginning biocides and so forth, or will you let his ideas go with him to the grave?
Second.
Mr. Wadia, good morning. My name is Lucy Shaw from ZNBC. I heard you say you increase rates for modes like Manager and stuff. Won't this further affect business houses, considering that other people are running away due to high rentals, and this will also go to us, the residents of the south?
Good morning, Mr. Sampa. My name is Stephen Mbula from Zambia Daily Mail. My question is partly tied to a question that somebody had asked, but you did mention that at one point everybody seemed to have abandoned you, with the exception of the head of state, or probably the head of state was one of the few that stayed with you. Let's assume that you now become mayor and your phone will start buzzing, will you embrace those that seem okay, your attitude towards those that seem to have abandoned and they
Please repeat the last bit.
Yeah, the last bit is, will you be able to embrace those that seemed to have run away from you when you are no longer active in politics?
Thank you. I'll start with Stephen Vula from Daily Mail. It's a very cardinal question. I just happen to be a good example. I know I've been through this road. I know how it feels to be embraced. And I also know how it feels to be rejected. Okay? So yes, I am a recipient of being embraced by somebody everyone thought should not embrace me. And what they didn't know was the one actually looking out for me as a brother. So yes, I will embrace anybody who wasn't with me. Here we are in this room. We had some competitors against me. It was internal democracy, but they're already my friends. We're chatting and working together. Even those who are my family members, I also embrace them. Those who want, but those who don't want, I will not force myself on them. I'll embrace everybody. Even after I'm elected as mayor, I'll not just be a mayor for PF. I'll be a mayor even for those who support the UPN candidate. Congratulations. I'll be a mayor for congratulations. I'll be a mayor for Tayari. I'll be a mayor for Savoy. I'll be a mayor for HH himself. I'll be a mayor for Laura Miti. Bonse. So I'll embrace them. But some, their duty now is to criticize me. But that's democracy. We have to allow them. Yes, so to answer your noble question, I've gone through this. I know to embrace your adversaries. And the bond is even stronger than ever. So yes, I'll embrace everybody. Amen. Within and outside. And members of the family as well, I will embrace them. It was their democratic right. In politics, just because you're related, I've come to learn. It doesn't mean you'll be supported by your relative. Yeah, but that's fair enough with me. But yes, I will embrace everybody. On rates and business, look, we will not go out there and just increase the rates for the sake of it. We'll look, those who are not paying, why should they shop at the building at Mandayu and Kamwala and the building in the compounds of Matero pay the same rates? The rates are so low. Do you know how much rates they have per year? I think for a house it's something like 20 kwacha per year or something like that, just to give you an idea. So it's worthless per se. So we'll make them economical. Okay, we'll make them economical. But priority for me is to tax the business community that are not paying economic rates. But will not peg the rates at a price that puts them out of business. The last one from Nakiwe, good question. This is a continuation. I'm coming in the shoes of the late Paul Kalumba. May he so rest in peace. It doesn't mean that he wasn't doing the work. I used to follow him. I used to follow him closely. He had big ideas. So one of the first things I would do in the 100 days is look at his ideas. Some of his ideas I will adopt and implement. The other one where he was criticized so much on putting rates on talk time. Everybody, all Lusaka people became opposed him. But yes, in those town hall meetings, that's one of the things we'll look at. If it's happening elsewhere, in Mozambique they do it. It's just a form of collecting the rates. So we'll say, maybe instead of you coming to the council to pay your bills, you can pay it through talk time and then we net off. But that was his idea. All I'm saying is I'm continuing from where I left. I'll look at the points that he had, ideas, together in those meetings we'll agree which one of Kalumba's ideas we pick on. On cremation, like I have come to learn, the issue of cemetery and death in Zambia is very sensitive. And also most Zambians are Christian who don't believe in cremation. But at the same time, remember, in Lusaka there is no more land. The cemeteries are full. So where are we going to be burying our beloved ones? I've seen at the Leopards here, in the roads, that's where now they're starting to make graves. There's a commercial memorial park, but how about those people who don't have money to pay for the graveyard? Yeah, so we'll look at the solution, and together in those meetings we'll come up with a solution. How to best create a new graveyard in Lusaka. One other way, remember I've said that we engage the nearby districts, Chilanga, Kafiwe, Chongwe. Maybe one of them can agree to barter with us. They give us 50,000 hectares and we create a cemetery in the surrounding areas. Katuwa is just here. They have land there. We can do barter, they give us land, and we'll find what we can give them. So yes, together, when we have those meetings, we'll find a lasting solution to the issue of graveyards.
We'll take a set of 3 questions. One at the far end, one from him, and the last one from... Yeah. So we'll start from the far end.
My name is Peter Kabwe from ZNBC. During your time as Mayoral MP, you embarked on a number of youth empowerment projects. Are we going to see this during your time as mayor, either within the work of the council or outside?
Thank you.
Hemi Chajonde is my name, from Pan African Radio. And my question is, because some stakeholders have raised eyebrows over your comeback into PF. They're saying you've come back because you're positioning yourself to take over president, to take over for president. So do you still have ambitions to be president of Zambia?
We'll have one last one.
Good morning. Wells Fonda from Prime TV. I wanted to find out one thing. We've received a lot of allegations from marketeers and those working in bus stations, saying that cadres do collect levies in markets and bus stations, and this is one of the things that you've mentioned. Say, as a council, you'll be working, on collecting levies from these markets. Do you have that in mind to ensure that there is no that friction? Because we have some cases which are before the court of law today, where certain people have been dragged to court who are suspected to be PF cadres in the same line.
Okay. Thank you, Prime TV. I'll start with you. The issue of markets and bus station, I spoke about it. It's a duty of the council to ensure that markets and bus stations in Lusaka are properly managed. Okay? And already there's the matter of management boards to manage this bus stop and manage the markets. So we ensure that there's law and order and everything is done properly. There's the issue of cooperatives. Some of these markets, people formed cooperatives, and they, like Lilanda Market. People came to, because the council was moribund for a long time. So some markets, people took over. They formed cooperatives, and some went to banks or to some donor agencies, borrowed money to upgrade their markets as cooperatives. So they've gone to court to say, no, it's our market and we've invested in. But the council is saying all markets are supposed to be managed by the council. So we'll find lasting solutions to satisfy all stakeholders. Stakeholders is the government, the residents of Lusaka, the commuters, the traders, the youths. So we'll find a lasting solution to that. Takes me to the question of Peter Kabwe, ZNBC. You were asking about the youths. Yes, I was passionate and still passionate about the youths. During the campaigns, I saw people saying, we don't want madalas, we want the youths. I was saying, when did I become a madara? And I was hearing him saying, hey, miti kula empanga. So when tukakula shaninga tabaletu yuzinga. So I used to say that same statement myself not long ago. I thought I needed to be rewarded because I was a youth. Okay, so now apparently I'm a Madara. No, we don't want to recycle the politician. But I've only been in politics for 5 years. Yeah, but those were campaign time, which are gone. But yes, I'm passionate over the youths. So as mayor as well, because the majority, I think 70% of residents of Lusaka are youths. But we'll not do that at the expense also of the old folks. I also reach out to them to ensure that we have a program for them. So yes, we'll continue and ensure that the youths are well taken care of. In terms of projects, we'll not be giving handouts as a council, but we'll keep them busy and get them involved so that they are part of the development of Lusaka. Bwana Chonga, Pan-Africa Radio, you like saying, people are saying, oh, yourself. You are speaking on your own behalf. That's your thought. If you don't, like I said, if you don't believe in reconciliation, don't include everybody in that belief. I just went in Churchland earlier on that reconciliation happened. And those who don't believe in it, if you don't want to be in part of that reconciliation, then I will not force you. Don't be part of that reconciliation. And then issues of loyalty, I've said that I've made errors in life, and I think I'm a better person now. God deliberately took me through a road, and I'm a better person. My loyalty is with President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. In 2021, he himself, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he will tell me, indicate whether you want me to continue another term as mayor, or whether you want me to go to Matero, or whether you want me to go elsewhere. I'll be there for service for him and the party to give me signal. Are we together? For 2021, my elder brother, the President of the Republic of Zambia, your President, my President, our President, wow. Together with the party, they'll give me a signal that you were mayor, to therefore work a report 2021 Paribu mayor for another term. Or you were mayor, we want you to work a Kumatero. Or you were mayor to therefore Chitefi. It's up to them. Signal. Are we together? I hope more for our Pan-African Radio.
We didn't get the question.
We'll have the last...
Yeah, I didn't talk about 2021. The question was, do you still have ambitions to be...
Which years? Your question is misplaced. It's been answered that way.
Can we...
What's your tribe? Maybe I can answer in your mother tongue.
Okay, if you speak Zulu, it's fine.
No, I think you've got the...
Can we have the last set of questions, please? Okay, we'll get one from her.
My name is Pamela. Within your 100 days in mayoral vision, Mr. Sampa, I want to seek clarification on the billboards. Because you said you are going to properly put them, but there's a controversy surrounding political billboards, where you find that after an election, we still have them. Even maybe you've put up yours, I've not seen it yet. Do we see them being removed immediately after this campaign? Because like yesterday when I was going for work, I saw that there was a billboard which was way back in 2016 is still, there in the city. I thank you, sir.
We'll have one from...
Okay, just a quick last one. I want to find out what you intend to do. The major outcry out there has been on the issue of foreign nationals taking over local jobs in Lusaka. So I would really want to find out, I as a journalist, on the other hand, I do entrepreneurship, and that's the major challenge we've been experiencing. So I'd want to find out, because recently there was an issue of issuing of licenses by the local authorities to these foreign nationals, and at times they're issued to the Zambians who also sell to the foreign nationals. So I'd want to find out how you intend to address that.
Do we have one last question? Do we have one last question, or we just take this through? Okay.
Yeah, I'll start with Pamela, CBC. That the phone is ringing. Yeah, my phone had stopped ringing. My phone. But yeah, as soon as the adoption came, I got confused because the phone there was 60 missed calls within an hour. Yeah, so Pamela of CBC, the billboards. Remember I said we will need to computerize and have records at the council. So your billboard, which you're looking at, if you should have seen a number there in my mind. Within 100 days we will do that. So that you call the call center at the council. Billboard number 1930. Immediately someone there will check and they'll see whether it's been paid for and who is putting it there. Most of these billboards are illegal. You won't find the owner. They just went to somebody who paid them and they put them up. But you go to the council, you will not find a database, a proper database for these billboards. Yeah, if politics, the campaigning period has finished and the billboard still is showing, like I've seen Margaret Manakare's billboard is there. My assumption is she's paid the owner of the billboard. And also it's in our constituents. When I was in my constituents, I used to put billboards of myself. As a way, I used to try and communicate to my voters. And I remember we started slogans there because I just wanted to hype up my residents of Mayoral as MP. Because, you know, life was tough for them. And the first thing I could do was to communicate to them. So I put up a billboard and said, Mayoral, home of happy people. Just that, they were feeling, oh, we are supposed to be happy people. And communicating to them. When it was time to be getting NRCs, I would put and say, please get NRCs. So it was a way of communicating. 2 billboards that I used to have to put up there. So yes, we ensure that billboards, we enforce that whatever you see is paid for. And when you have a question, as the council, we should be able to answer. Yes, those billboards that are not properly put up with proper authority from the council, we uproot them. And those that are in wrong areas, we also uproot them. We ensure that there is law and order as far as billboards are concerned. Okay? The last one on foreign nationals. As mayor of Lusaka, I'm glad you've asked that question, my sister. As mayor of Lusaka, the first thing I want to ensure within 100 days is that I have a proper database of who are these residents of Lusaka. Who are they, the 2 million or 3 million residents of Lusaka? And amongst them, who are the foreigners? How many Rwandese do we have in Lusaka? How many Congolese do we have in Lusaka? How many Zimbabweans do we have in Lusaka? As mayor, I would want to know that. How many Burundi people do we have in Lusaka? How many Asians do we have in Lusaka? That data is not for discriminatory purposes. It's to know who is who. The council, yes, gives permission to anyone to do the business. In Mayoral is a complaint that all the timbers that you see are people from Rwanda and Burundi or Congo. And the locals are saying we don't even have anywhere to trade. The question, but who gave those people the license to start doing business? So yes, all those two-man timbers in our residence where we live, now everyone just opens up and starts selling. Homes are becoming residential, are becoming business centers. In the middle of nowhere, you're seeing a home, suddenly it's going up a hotel. So where we live now, there will be high-rise. Huh? People will be up there and they can see down there in your bedrooms because you are mixing usages of areas. So if it's residential area, it's supposed to be residential area. Business area is supposed to be business area. So yes, my dear, as the mayor, I want to see these foreigners. We will not discriminate, but we ensure that the paperwork is done properly and priority will be given to Lusaka residents, Zambians for that matter, to be the ones to do business and do entrepreneurship. A foreigner, yes, they are welcome, but they will need to convince us why we'll give them the license. They'll need to have a very good reason why we should give them a license as a council.
Clearly, we can all see that our mayor, incoming mayor, is very candid and very serious about communication. I mean, he has spent all this time. Others would be running up and down doing the campaigns, but he's sat with us as the media to edify and educate us on the things that he intends to do. At this particular time, I will call upon the Directorate to just say a few remarks. Thereafter, we'll close.
Let me thank His Worship, the incoming Mayor for Lusaka. Job well done. Not to come from that Mayor got a vision. I think he's laid it bare. Even those that don't want to hear, they've heard. The Bible says, cast your vision, make it plain, so that the reader may run with it. We don't expect that colleagues are going to distort what has been said here. The mayor has not said, for instance, that he's anti-business or anti-business houses. He's made it very, very clear. The mayor has talked about how stakeholder engagement is going to be under his leadership. He's talked about his vision for the city, his engagement with the people. We've never had town hall meetings. This is something that will come, and the people have a right to engage those that they elect to office. And I think that even beyond the people coming once in 6 months, we also ask the mayor that once in a while, there's a program where he's going to get into these constituencies and get a feel from these people to understand clearly what's happening in these areas. Your Worship, the incoming mayor, I want to greatly thank you. And we're happy that big things are in Mayoral. You know, so for those that want, you can make your way to Mayoral. Your mayor, on a lighter note, those who are gonenering the refuse trucks, some of them are they're among those who did not recognize the president as duly elected. You know, in fact, the main architect of that agenda is one of those who was, you know, gonenering the refuse trucks. Let me ask Mr. Mwanza to make his remarks and close this forum.
Before he does that, let me just say thank you for coming, and also that yes, let's make these campaigns issue-based. I know some will be very negative in the campaigns. Let's do what we can do, be positive, and also let's be non-violent, but also let's enjoy the campaign, and I invite everyone to join in, and everybody out there to join in. This is your campaign. This is not about Mao Sampa. This is about the party. It's the mayor of the party. So everybody, PF, come and let's deliver this for President Edgar Lungu. It's not whether we win or not. I think winning, we are winning. It's the margin. So let's win by a very, very big margin. And let's not let those who want to be negative or naysayers be on their own. But otherwise, I'm inviting everybody. And the last thing I will say to all of you, let me see if you might grade 7. I told you how to answer earlier on. When I say something, you answer. Are we together?
Give us
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, thank you, sir. Director, thank you. The moderator, thank you. The colleagues that stood and are here, the leaders of the party, thank you so much. This show was for the mayor, and the mayor has laid down there his vision to make the council more cohesive, more effective, and more responsive to the people. And I think it has been very clear. We will not spoil the soup by adding any spices. Safe to say that leadership also calls for a minimum of experience. I was president of the University of Zambia Students' Union, and Comrade Brian Hapunda was the Secretary General of the University of Zambia Students' Union. One of the things that is required is that you cannot be a president of the University of Zambia Students' Union if you have not spent 3 years within the institution. And also you cannot be the Vice Chancellor of the University of Zambia if you have not spent 10 years in management. And also you cannot receive Mateweto if you have not spent a minimum of 5 years in your marriage. So everywhere you go, there is a minimum that is requested of you. Yes. And if you look at Honorable, he spent time as a member of parliament and the chairperson of the council of Matero, where he served as the chairperson of the council. He's also served as the deputy minister for commerce and finance, and also Lusaka province and Southern Province Minister. So he comes with a wealth of experience, and experience is the greatest teacher. On the other hand, when director here was reading out the vision for few actors, I realized they are really misplaced. Because it's not the job of a mayor to be dealing with FISIP. That's not the job of a mayor to be dealing with FISIP. So it is clear that we cannot reduce this race to a celebrity race. You cannot come to us and tell us that your only qualification is that you appeared in a movie and you have a dimple and that you run a church somewhere which we don't even know. You can't tell us that the only experience you bring here is that you compose songs and you belong to Sling Beats Entertainment and XYZ and Bravo Entertainment. I too am in the entertainment industry. I'm a DJ. But that cannot be the qualification for me to be elected as mayor. And most importantly, it must be understood to the residents of Lusaka that the council works through resolutions. So councillors sit and make resolutions. And so far, the PF controls all the wards in Lusaka except one. So even if you were to elect anybody outside PF, that somebody will not work. Because when they come, Azankala mwana wanchete, mwana wa masiye. Because whatever he wants to do, he doesn't have the numbers. It will be proper money. Because he doesn't have the numbers. You can go to the United States of America, which is a model of democracy. Your vision is moved by the numbers that you have. You can go to UK. The vision, even to pass a referendum, is moved by the numbers that you have in the House. You can go to Germany. For you to form a coalition, it's about the numbers that you have. You can go to the Parliament of Zambia. It is the numbers. So PF has the numbers. PF has the councils. So anyone outside PF, even if you are to give him 10 minutes to be mayor, even 10 years to be mayor, they will not do anything because they don't have the numbers. So the residents of Lusaka must know that this is a serious business and the PF has the numbers, the PF are in control of the councils, and only a PF mayor would deliver. Because this is not Mayoral business. This is serious business of delivering to the expectations of the people. So it should be made very clear. And in conclusion, we, the PF, must do what we do always. We unite. We go flat out. The media team, and I'm seeing a lot of media people here, will be out flat out, making sure we're hitting all the airwaves. It is our job to do so. And explain the vision of the mayor and the PF and why the mayor must be elected. To some of us who are full-time cadres like myself, coming from the compound, we should hit all the doors and we will knock to all the doors. We should go door to door and campaign. It is extremely important that we unite as a team and campaign to every voter. And the people, like the director said, must be worried. When you have the leader of the opposition saying, go and defend yourselves, you must be worried. When I was looking at him yesterday on TV, I was screaming. I said, because the level of bitterness, I'm surprised. The level of bitterness, you cannot tell children, to go and defend yourselves. Because when those youths are being beaten, you will not be there. Have you ever seen a rich man going on the road with a panga to go and beat people? No. So our message as Patriotic Front is what the President has said and what the Secretary General said. We don't want violence. You cannot have a leader who tells Vana Vilesibari Baki at Nyamurani Mapanga, Muziende Muziste defend. Yamene election Pankare Namulopa. Just a simple election, ya mayor, Pankare Mulopa. So Mr. Akainde needs prayers, and this is serious, it's not politicking. He needs to be visited. There is a problem. He harbors too much hatred and bitterness, and that is not good. It is not even good for him. It is not even healthy. It's not even healthy. You need to learn to forgive, embrace people, and move on. And let us not turn campaigns into war zones. So the mayor has a vision, sir. It is our job, all of us, to go and knock on the doors, to campaign to everybody, and to make sure that we hit the airwaves and explain why you deserve to be a mayor. It's not a celebrity contest. It's not Kardashians. It's not Telemundo. It's not Kabanana. This is real life. It's not even Munyaule. It's not even Manyengwe. It's life about people who are looking for leadership. So we will not reduce the qualifications of a mayor to looks. And we are happy we have a mayor also who looks nice. Thank God I'm not gay.
Colleagues, we have come to the end of this edition. On behalf of those that I was working with, Newton Walia, Nakiwe Simpungwe, it's a pleasant chilly afternoon. But for those our members that were not adopted, please, you want you to remain behind. So if there are any of you that are in...
They can come here. Please just come here. We'll sing the national anthem together before we close.
Yes.
Please, wherever you are, Comrade Clement Tembo, Gift Kasaro, I see you.
Oh, my brothers.
Bruce Ernest.
Bruce Ernest, everyone please come and join us.
We're my celebrity. I'm a celebrity coming back.
Okay, the first song we're going to sing together, let's hold hands. Please hold hands. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together with love. There is only one King. There is only one God. There is only one body. That's why we sing, Lord, bind us. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together, Lord. With cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together, Lord. Bind us together with love. Let's sing the national anthem. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Stand and sing, O Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for their right. We've won freedom.
nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky. Like a noble eagle in his flight. Zambia, praise to thee. Oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to praise be, praise be. Bless our great nation, Zambia, Zambia. Free may we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia. Praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.